All right. So today we're going to talk about doubling down on things that work with your agency. When you start getting some traction in business, uh, people often don't keep doing the same things that are working, even though they're already working. So, Brayden, have you ever been
Yeah.
in a situation
Well,
where
sometimes
you had something working and then you stopped doing it?
sometimes you get like shiny object syndrome and begin working on things that you really don't need to. But I'd say definitely. I was charging MRR and we were growing
What does
steadily,
that
which
mean?
is great monthly recurring revenue. So 2,000, 3,000 bucks a month, every month.
Cool.
Um, to clients. And I ended up changing the pricing structure we did to pay per appointment, pay per lead. Um, which just, this is why we track numbers and track stats, but it just did not work nearly as good. And you could, yeah, I mean, the revenue numbers were like this, and then the month we did it, it plummeted, and then the month we went back to MRR, it went right back up, and started trailing. So it was a pretty direct correlation that just didn't work whatsoever. Um, and that was just, I mean, kind of sucks because you wasted a month and then half of the month before and probably half the month after to fix everything. So a good 2 months of progress that's down the drain just by trying something. But
Hmm.
um, yeah, I mean, I also had another time where I was going to not switch, where I was going to try to add on and focus more on cold email or cold DM along with the cold call. And, thankfully somebody told me to just stick on the cold calling and make that work even more. And that's what I did. And I'm glad I did that because if it's already working, you could definitely most likely scale it up even further. Um, and that's where you're going to see the quickest growth.
So, why do you think people do it? Like, what leads to doing it? I've done it.
I think it's grass is always greener on the other side.
Hmm.
It's easy to look at cold email and someone doing well with that, or ads, for example, and someone doing well with that, and say, "Hey, I want to go do that." Like it just seems so perfect because everyone's
Hmm.
talking about the good things about it, but no one's talking about the bad things about it.
Hmm.
Um, so that could be one thing. Um, and I think that's the biggest thing. And then number two is it's sometimes when you're facing problems with what you're currently doing, like if you're doing cold calling and you're facing problems with it, sometimes it might be looked at as easier just to jump ship and go to something
Hmm.
else that does look all shiny and better. But in reality, just doubling down on what you're currently doing and fixing that is definitely going to be the quickest way to scale up whatever you're doing.
It's funny because in business you have like as your business starts growing, you have all of these different things that you do that produce revenue, right? Like for you, you have a cold calling backend team, um, and uh, sometimes it becomes uh, very easy to forget what you did that got you to your position in the first place. Um,
Yeah.
and often it becomes tempting to think, for whatever reason, that in order to keep growing, you need to do things very, very differently. And often, in order to keep growing, you just need to keep doing the same thing. You need to keep getting better at it, and you need to keep doing more of it. Um, and yeah, I mean, like I think you can allude this to every part of business. It's not just the pricing strategy that you have, um, that you need to double down on and get better and better at selling, but it could also be the way that your service delivery functions. Like oftentimes people forget. I forgot once we hit like some sort of scale with clients. Once we had 50, 60 clients, like I forgot the things that we were doing with service delivery that allowed us to get to that position in the first place and allowed us to scale up. And I started trying to do all of these different crazy things with our service, and I just started trying to make it really, really complicated. When I realized, like in hindsight, how obvious it was. What I was doing in that situation was looking for some like magical mystery change that I could make to the like fundamental part of my business that would unlock a bunch of scale. And what I came to learn, but it took me a bunch of time, was I just need to keep doing more of it, and I need to actually simplify my service, and I need to simplify what I'm doing, and I need to keep scaling it up itself. Um, so that's a really, really hard concept to get over sometimes.
Often, yeah, and keeping things as simple as possible is definitely a very scalable way. to
Mm.
grow anything. I feel like it's very easy to make things more complex and add more and more things that really aren't pushing the needle forward.
Hmm.
Um, so I just think regularly seeing what's working the best for clients or for lead generation or whatever, and then what's not working so well, and just cutting off the not working so well, and just doubling down on what's working is definitely it sounds so simple and so easy, but it's very hard to do sometimes.
Right. Right. Yeah. 100%. 100%. What's another example of you doing this in business? Have you stopped doubling down or like stopped doing something that was working well?
I mean, I've been inconsistent on things, so like content's a good one where, it
Mhm.
is pretty direct that when I start posting content, my close rate goes higher, and then when I stop posting content, my close rate goes lower. And I had to do it like 2 or 3 times to like no, okay, cool. Like this is like it is content. Like this is what's
Sure.
making the close rate increase. And then once I did it like by the third time, I was like, okay, cool. If I just continue posting content consistently, my close rate should go up just because
Right.
that's been the lever that's been pulled on and off in a direct correlation. So like that's another thing. I don't know if it was necessarily not doubling down on what's working, but just like second guessing myself on if that
Sure.
works or not, and just kind of going back and forth until finally it's like obvious and right in your face.
Right. Right. I get that's almost another part of doubling down is second guessing
Yeah.
yourself, right? It's starting to doubt things, especially in early days. Because in the when you look back on a longer term time horizon, like look at your business over 5 years. It hasn't even existed for 5 years. Your how long has your business been running for now?
How long have you had revenue for? Like a year and
Yeah.
a half,
Okay, a
maybe a
year and
little
a
bit
year and a
less.
half. So ultimately, in like the grand scheme of your life, it's not a very long period of time
Yeah.
to experience a lot of change. But in when you do something for like a month and it doesn't work, it's easy to think, oh, it's never going to work. It's really easy to go, huh? It's been 30 days. Like something's wrong here, and you almost like doubt yourself and want to reverse it. But if you zoom out and if you look at what happens as you keep doing it for 90 days, for 180 days, for an entire year, for 2 years, for 3 years, for 4 years, you start seeing how that little amount of progress that you were able to get in the first month compounds very, very quickly. Um, so you almost have to have like a delusional self-doubt, oh sorry, self-confidence, that when you choose something, if you stick with it, it eventually starts paying off. But you should be looking at things paying off over a year long time frame or a 2 year long time frame instead of paying off next week, because usually most good things don't pay off in 7 days.
Very true. Yeah, I've definitely fallen victim to that a few times. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, I mean, I think it's also deciding, when to. It's hard because sometimes you don't know if it's time to hang something up and then go take a different direction and it's a smart pivot, or if you just need to give it more time. But I
Right,
think going into everything with the mindset of like, hey, I'm gonna make this work no matter what is definitely because I mean everything does work. Every business model
right.
does work, every channel does work. It's just the approach that might need to be tweaked. So I think that's definitely a good mindset to go into things with.
Love it. Cool. With that being said, let's wrap up this week's episode, and we'll see everyone next week.
Yes, and what? Oh, I mean, we
Awesome.
got to plug. We got to plug.
Oh, we've got a plug.
Can't
We
forget to
haven't
do that.
plugged. Can't forget
Can't
to
forget
do
to
that.
do
We're
that.
looking we're looking for young, ambitious people that are running an agency or want to start running an agency. Um, and if you're really, really good, we want you to apply, and we want to consider your application and see if it's worth us partnering with you and helping you scale the business up. So if you like these podcasts, if you think that there might be a little bit more that Brayden and I can help show you to help your agency grow faster, then apply with the link below. Spend the time, do a good application, and once a month we review applications and choose one person to accept into the OB.
Boom.
Boom.
Later.
Later.